Hello everyone, good morning. I hope you're doing well today, and I hope that your day is going great. If it's not, that is totally fine. So today we're learning about the Kingfisher again. Last episode I only covered a few facts, but in this episode we are going to go all out with our facts. So before we go into the episode, we are going to do some breathing exercises. So if you're ready, breathe in, hold your breath, and breathe out slowly. Breathe in, hold your breath, and breathe out slowly. Last time here, breathe in, hold your breath, and breathe out slowly. Thank you so much for doing that with me, guys. I hope that you are relaxed and ready to go into our episode today. So the first fact we have here is that these kingfishers close their eyelids or nictitating membrane as they dive into the water. So the nictitating membrane is kind of their eyelids that they use, that many other animals also use to protect their eyes. Usually nocturnal animals have that as well, such as crocodiles and I think owls. So that is a very useful trait there. And they bob their heads before diving to accurately judge the depth of the fish. So that is also very interesting there. I didn't know that they would bob their heads or anything. And the second fact we have here is a kingfisher pair dig a nest tunnel in vertical sandy river banks. So their nest chamber at the end has a slight depression, like sort of like a bowl, to prevent the eggs from rolling out. So no material is brought into the nest. The chicks kind of come to the nest's end to get the food. So they kind of protect the nest that way. Right now, I don't know if you guys can hear, but there are some geese migrating in the background. So that is very fun. Anyways, guys, let's go on to our third fact here. The chicks are fed in rotation. Once a chick is fed, it moves to the back of the nest to digest its meal, and the other chick comes forward to get its meal. So that is very efficient for these kingfisher chicks, because everyone gets their share, and mom and dad don't have to worry about malnutrition. So once out of the nest, the young are fed for only 4 days before the adults drive them out of the territory, and then they start the next brood. So 2 to 3 broods are often raised in one season. So we saw in the last episode that 2 broods are raised. What I thought was simultaneously, the mom will lay a clutch of eggs in one nest, and then another clutch of eggs in another nest, and then raise them simultaneously. But that's not the case here. She first raises one brood and then drives the chicks out, and then she raises another one. So the next fact we have here is very interesting because it's about kingfisher courtship. So that occurs in the spring, and the male will approach the female with a fish in his beak, and then he will hold it so that the head of the fish is kind of facing outwards, and he will attempt to feed it to the female. So that is very interesting there. We have seen this in owls as well. So owls kind of stay together for a breeding season, and the male owl will feed the female owl. So that is the similar thing that's going on here as well. But if he is unsuccessful, then he will simply eat the fish himself. He may have to repeat this feeding behavior for other females as well if he's kind of unsuccessful. So that is very interesting. I hope that the kingfisher male gets someone to eat his fish. So lastly, we're going to learn about the design of a kingfisher's beak. So it is aerodynamically efficient, which means it's kind of efficient to dive into the air, and that's what allows it to dive from the perch that it's sitting in. It kind of allows to dive into the water, and so it kind of gives this traction for it to kind of aim for its prey and dive in the right place towards its prey. So it gives maximum speed and maximum splash as well. In fact, the beak design is also very clever, that the front of many Japanese bullet trains are kind of modeled to mimic it. So that is very interesting there. Even like bullet trains are kind of inspired by the hummingbird. Sorry guys, the kingfisher. So bullet train scientists such as engineer Eiji Nakatsu got the idea to kind of mimic the kingfisher after observing the bird's unique ability to dive from the air into water with minimal splash. So it is very cool that kingfishers kind of inspired a very smart engineer, which is really amazing. He had been a bird watcher before, and he noticed the kingfisher's kind of narrow beak going into the water, and now he kind of implemented it into the bullet train. So now let's go on to our story here about how kingfishers kind of showed up in Tokyo. So previously they were only in places such as the Meguro River and near mountains, because they were kind of in these wildlife places. They had a lot of fish and lakes near, but then due to pollution and a lot of pollution in the water, these kingfishers could not find any food, and then they kind of came to Tokyo. And it's a really beautiful thing because they don't even have to build a nest. They have tunnels, kind of like the concrete tunnels that they find comfortable to be their nests. So these are just pipe holes for drainage, and these kingfishers kind of find it comfortable. So what happened was, in the old wild, that is the lakes and the mountains that I was talking about, since that got polluted, now the fish have returned to like the central Tokyo rivers and lakes. So now central Tokyo has become like the new wild, and that has attracted kingfisher and so on. And even though Tokyo is like the most populated city, it still has a really clean springs, so that really attracts these kingfishers. So some of the old wild kind of areas that still remain in Tokyo are the Shibuya River, and also the Imperial Palace, which is the largest green space in Tokyo. So Princess Kuruda Sayako kind of studied these kingfishers, even though she was still in the imperial family or the royal family. She was a researcher at the Yamashina Institute for Ornithology. And it's really cool because, princesses or princes don't really study birds like these or do important. Their jobs are already important, so it is really amazing that what she's doing here. This video kind of shows a kingfisher eating a fish in central Tokyo, which is really cool. So kingfishers have kind of taken to this new environment, and we can see how adaptable they are and how they can, inhabit another environment without any, problems. So now we're going to learn about the Guam kingfisher. So it is a species of kingfisher called Todiramphus cinnamominus, and it is known as sea heck in the Chamorro language. So I don't know where the Chamorro place is, but it was endemic to the Guam island, but now it experienced a catastrophic population decline in the 1980s. So the brown tree snake was accidentally kind of introduced to the Guam after World War II, and those snakes preyed on this kingfisher, driving it to near extinction. So since they previously had no predators in that island and they had no defenses, they easily fell prey to these brown tree snake or arboreal predators. And now there's only about 30 specimen by 1986. So they declared this bird as extinct in 1986, but then a cooperative rescue effort between the Guam Department of Aquatic and Wildlife Resources, so they kind of had this effort to go into the forests and kind of capture these last remaining kingfisher, and now there are about 29 remaining birds that they captured in 1984 and 1986. Now they've formed the foundation of the current breeding program that they have. So that is really, really amazing, because now we have saved this almost extinct kingfisher. So that is amazing. But this kingfisher has a lot of amazing traits on its own. We are probably going to cover it in another episode, but for now, thank you so much for listening, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this part 2, and see you on the next episode. Goodbye.